It is the sixth day of Trump's 564th court case. It's his first criminal trial. Trump is charged with falsifying 34 business records in an attempt to cover up a payment to a porn star who he slept with, Stormy Daniels, in the days before the 2016 election. The prosecution is trying to make this look like he was influencing an election illegally, right? Moving money around. This was illegal. The defense is going to make it look like this is what any creepy celebrity billionaire with a toadstool dick does. The jury was selected, which is very fun because all of them, 12 of them plus some alternates, I guess, 6 alternates, had to say that they could be impartial. So they were probably in deep comas during the Trump years or have some sort of Benjamin Button syndrome where they have baby brains and adult bodies. Either way, it's going on, and Trump's been falling asleep multiple times. There's a hashtag right now, Don Snorleone, which I don't always love a hashtag, but Don Snorleone's pretty fucking good. And here's Fox News saying what Trump is being subjected to is absolutely cruel and unusual.
But the guy needs exercise. He's usually golfing. And so you're going to put a man who's almost 80 sitting in a room like this on his butt for all that time? It's not healthy. You know how big of a health nut I am. He needs sunlight and he needs activity. He needs to be walking around. He needs action. It's really cruel and unusual punishment to make a man do that. And anytime he moves, they threaten to throw him in prison.
Oh no, he can't work out.
Yeah, we all know how committed Donald Trump is to physical health.
Yes. So just the idea that like how dare you make a man sit through his own criminal trial is just, we've heard every, like they might as well just be like, but he's white, like I'm waiting for that. He's a man. The trial's going to last 6 weeks. If found guilty, he could face probation or 4 years in jail. It is an interesting, I just want to take you through some of what's been presented, because there's some interesting things that are coming to light. The jury basically has to decide. I mean, this is the thing. The jury has to decide if these 34 financial crimes are crimes. Like that's what it is. But the defense or the prosecution knows that's kind of boring. So they really want to sell the jury on like, this was an attempt to sway the election, right? This is what it was for. It was to dupe the American people and yada, yada, yada. So whatever you make of that. But the prosecution, Coangelo is the prosecutor, laid out a tale that touched on tabloid journalism, tawdry affairs, and covertly recorded phone calls. Jurors will be told about events inside fancy hotel rooms. Oh, God, I feel bad for them. Trump Tower and even the Oval Office and the stakes, the presidency. Yes, Stormy Daniels is going to be testifying. I do wonder if she's going to go into detail about the encounter. We will see. Michael Cohen, who was once Trump's fixer, is also going to testify. And the defense, this is Attorney Blanche, is basically trying to paint him as a criminal who can't be trusted, and say that Stormy Daniels was biased, blah, 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 blah. Blanche is also saying that there's nothing wrong with trying to influence an election. It's called democracy. So there's a lot. But here's my thing about Michael Cohen. But go ahead, Nato, please jump in.
Stormy Daniels is going to testify?
Yeah.
Do you Trump's whole appeal to his base is like this perverse representation of masculinity? Do you realize that she could single-handedly save democracy by saying under oath, Trump came fast? Just that.
Yes.
Yes. he would get hard, and then he would come immediately without even getting
it was
inside.
Like my first time. Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that he wasn't a virgin.
Yeah.
Stormy Daniels, and I'm afraid of a copyright strike, so I don't want to play this, but she was on The View recently. She's so fucking cool. Like, you actually listen to her and you're like, oh, she has literally nothing to lose. She's been called every name. She's faced every kind of harassment, bullying, and she's got this amazing sense of humor and really doesn't care. And has also been pretty upfront about how it might have been consensual, but it was definitely coercive. he just kind of arrived in a robe and it was like, okay, I guess this is what we're doing now. Which, I mean, who among us? You know what I'm saying, NATO? You know,
I
we
Francesca,
all
I've done a lot
have
of
that
things.
one. We
I've
all
never
have that night we regret because we were like,
I've never arrived in a robe.
I mean, that's such a corny move, but you know, you also weren't born inside of a Robin Leash like Lifestyles of Rich and Famous
Yeah, and actually,
program.
as I think about it, I have a problem, which is if I were to attempt to arrive in a robe, the only robe that I own is a Jedi robe that I got at Disneyland, and that's not like
That
if
just
I
doesn't hold up on the stand. Yeah,
if
that
I
doesn't
showed up
sound.
in a Jedi robe, like no one would ever be like have an orgasm again. If I was just like there naked in a Jedi robe, like dicks would melt, vaginas would dry out.
If we found out that Trump showed up in a Jedi robe, oh god, it'd be over for the franchise. So okay, so the other thing, the interesting thing is also that
Talk about the rise of Skywalker. Heyo.
I mean, she is going to talk about how messed up and nar his junk. I mean, maybe. But anyway, one interesting piece that we found out, interesting piece of evidence, is that Keith Davidson, who is a lawyer who cut Stormy Daniels and Karen McDougal, who is also I think a Playboy model, cut them checks basically and cut these catch and kill deals. Texted to National Enquirer's editor-in-chief, this was David Pecker, I think his name was, quote, "What have we done?" That was the night of the election. So the prosecution is basically forming this argument that they knew that this was influencing the election. They helped Donald Trump influence the election. Obviously, Michael Cohen, I was going to say, the reason Michael Cohen fucking served time in prison is in part because of his role in these financial crimes in order to pay off Stormy Daniels. But so that's the picture they're painting. Here's the thing. I've said this before, I'll say it again right now. If I ever had the misfortune of sleeping with Donald Trump, you would not have to pay me a dime to keep my mouth shut. I would tell nobody. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, we can all think of those nights where we're like, man, never telling anyone about that because that was not something to brag about. So I just think it's funny that they thought they had to get out ahead of a story when if someone's sleeping with Donald Trump, ain't no way they're bragging about that shit. Just like, but anyway.
I mean, certainly not like 2010's Donald Trump. Maybe 1985 Donald Trump.
At one point, he looked less like mold. And yeah, that might have been the time. I don't know. That's so gross, Steven. This, ugh. Blah.
Look, there was a lot of coke around.
Yeah, meaning he definitely wouldn't have gotten hard.
Right.
Anyway, NATO, what do you think? Is he going to serve prison time? Are you excited about this? Are you going to listen? We're not. It's none of it's being televised. All we're going to get, and also this is crazy to think that you could be a juror, just a juror, like a juror in Donald Trump's fucking trial. Like, here's my assessment: they're going to let him off because, just like cops, it's very difficult to convict a fucking former president. Oh my god, this has never happened before.
Yeah, I mean, well, and like, and also the kind of people that they had to get who didn't already have a developed opinion about Donald Trump. Like,
Yep.
those people have to be so incredibly stupid.
They're like, you remember that guy Ken Bone from 2016 who was like, I'm an undecided voter. Trump's like, all Mexicans are rapists. He's like, I don't know. What's going on, Frantifa? If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that button. And also, you can become a patron and support the show every single week. Get access to bonus episodes and exclusive merchandise. Patreon.com/bitchuation room. Do